Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is October 22nd, 2018, and today is Monday morning. So looking at the major economic events of the day, nothing scheduled for today, but as the week cooks up, we'll see some major events happening, especially tomorrow. Canadian dollar will be having a rate decision. So that's an important event for tomorrow, just heads up. But before we do some chart work, let's discuss a few points. Number one, euro looked like it rallied against the dollar, more like a bounce. We'll take a look at that. The Aussie dollar is flat. GBP bounced, but not as sharply. Canadian dollar is at resistance in anticipation to tomorrow's rate decision. So just be aware of that. We'll take a look at that as well. And lastly, gold is holding on its upper limit. Looks like a bull flag. And so will it go higher? Okay, that's the major event. And does that mean that the Dow Jones has further room to go down? So these are some of the questions we'll be answering in today's daily review. But let's take a look at the markets and see what's been happening.
This conference will now be recorded.
So we're looking here at the Euro USD, and as you can see, it looks like a reverse head and shoulders. That would be the head right there. This would be one shoulder. So anticipation, maybe it'll, come down to the 1495-ish level. This is generally a bullish pattern, but altogether, we've seen such erratic movement in the euro over the past 2 to 3 months after its debacle from its sell-off, major sell-off from 125-ish level. So it's really hard to say at which level we'll be going. We're still at this lower limit on a daily chart, just between these two resistance and support levels, 115.84 on the upper limit and 114.73 on the lower limit. So that's a 100 pip range. So, it's kind of a tight range for us to be in. So just be aware of that. Okay, that's a really hard range to be trading in. Okay, so, as we look across the board, we're looking at a consolidation against the dollar, and a GBP USD also bounced a little bit, but not as sharply. Okay, selling off, but also trading between this 132.29-ish level and 130.32-ish level in a 200 pip move. So, in the ranges, it's all, relative to what you're trading. Now, looking at the Aussie USD, we'll see that, barely bounced. Okay, you could see that we're flatlining here. We're still within the realm of our downward, channel, but nothing really to write home about. Okay, I think actually we'll be flatlining here and trading between these two extremities until something else happens, either to take us higher or lower. So keep that in mind. Now, looking at tomorrow's USD CAD, you could see that we're trading at this upper limit 131.15-ish level. That's a nice depreciation to the Canadian dollar, mostly because of what's happening to the price of oil and because some of the tariffs and some of the things that have been spat between President Trump and the Prime Minister of Canada over tariff wars, etc., is actually creating in the markets, and we're seeing that live. So 131.15-ish level. So the rate decision tomorrow is going to be quite important. So we may see a correction here on the downside. If that is any indication that it wants to make the currency stronger, we may see that. Now, looking at gold, all right. Now, so we had this nice, massive rally last week from 1194 up to 1225 last week, and we look like we're making this bull flag right here. As you can see, it's just ranging very sharply here between these areas, and making a higher low, higher low, higher low, and then potentially a breakout on the upside. So keep that in mind as that freights throughout the day. And if you do see some signals on the upside, that will actually freight itself. Now, oil's been very flat here, 69.45 on the bottom of its range. Try to keep that inflationary numbers down. Okay, that's what they're trying to control with the different FOMCs trying to do with the interest rates. And when you increase interest rates, bond prices go down, and commodity prices also should kind of falter away. So that's what they've been trying to do in controlling the heat of the market. Now, looking at the Dow Jones, if gold prices do still ascend, then I would expect gold prices at the Dow Jones to actually sell off here and continue to sell off. All right, we've been in this tight range, bouncing to 25,795. We're trading right now at 25,415-ish level, and obviously the support level of 25,000. So we're in between these ranges. All right. Now, we're still not out of the woods yet in terms of the time of when we're trading this throughout the year. we are in a bearish time period, so just be aware of that. So it might be quiet the first couple of days, but just going into the week, you might want to expect maybe correctional moves either on the downside, and potentially some resistance at 25,795. And we're also in the earnings season as companies are producing their quarterly earnings, and this is pretty much the end of the year when it comes to that, so please be aware of that. Now looking at the stocks, same thing. Okay, the only one that's really strong is Apple, 219.08ish level right here. So unless Apple really takes off and really produces some pressure on the upside, I don't think that the markets are going to be correcting themselves on the upside anytime soon. Now if we look at Tesla, excuse me, Tesla looking there at 257, right back down to its lower limit and really faltering here. Okay, this is giving me not so much conviction on the upside. So, we may still see some correction on the downside here as well. So just be aware of that as we go into this week's trading time period. Thank you. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish you guys a great trading day. Thank you.